Oh boy, episode 5 of The Boys season 2 review. So please note, I'm going to be doing minor spoilers in this review, just so that I can really go a little bit deep into the review, rather than doing an overpoint, because some people mentioned last time that they thought I didn't have a screener because I did too much of a broader thing, and there's no ways I could have seen the screener. So I'm going to pop up my screener letter here, that proves that I've actually got these screeners, because I had so much hate. Couldn't believe the amount of hate. I also had so much love, so thank you for those that can continue to support.
Fucking fine.
So if you want to go into this completely fresh, then be mindful that there are minor spoilers in here. But if you want to kind of get an overview of where this series is going, especially episode 5, then do stick around. There's some very interesting things that happen in this episode.
You lot.
So for now, jump down below, give me a comment, let me know what are you most excited about for this season, for the episodes you haven't seen yet, and what are you really hoping that the season's going to do, where it's going to go. In episode 5, we see Homelander and the new Nazi superhero Liberty. They're butting heads again. Their relationship development in this episode is very interesting to me, because Homelander is finding it very hard to navigate social politics more so than ever. And with the unraveling of his mind, it feels like he might just explode at any minute. And there's a scene where you see what might happen if he does, and you kind of go, whoa. And so he needs some help, and we get that in the form of... And so even though they're bumping heads, has offered to help him. And so we see what that looks like. One of the things about this episode is it feels like it's found its feet finally in season 2. Not that I didn't like the other episodes, but it just kind of feels like it's all been up in the air. You don't really know where the arc is going to really go. But in this episode, we have so many storylines that are like literally everywhere. They pick apart... they pick on all of these threads, which I'll go into in a moment, but they also edit it together really well, so it flows really well. They go in and out of sequences that you felt like you were watching one story, even though you're watching multiple stories from many different angles, and it feels like it feels like they're setting us up for the big event of the ending. So episode 6, 7, and 8, it feels like it's going to really hype up that kind of tension. So Butcher is very messed up as well, and he's decided that he's going to go for a bit of moping in this episode. He's getting in the drink, mosh pits, that kind of stuff, and he wants to go visit a family member. A couple of the team members end up with him, and this is where we get an interaction with Noir finally. Kind of. It's an interaction that we've been hoping to see for a long time. I'm still very disappointed with how little we've seen of Noir. I want to see a lot more of him. I guess they're saving Noir for episodes 6, 7, and 8. Maybe he's going to get much more of a prominent role. We get to know a bit more about him, because really at the moment we don't know a lot. But this is so far, in episode 5, is the most we've seen of Black Noir. So with Butcher down in the dumps, we see Huey again trying to pick up their leadership. We had them butting heads again recently of who is actually the leader, and Butcher kind of puts him in this place. Especially like some of the dialogue scenes that we get with Butcher here. Some of his swearing is on top notch, but the way he delivers it is hilarious as usual. I think they're going to become some really great one-liners that you'll just love. You'll just love to kind of repeat, depending on who's around.
Heck right up his fudger. Boom.
And during the first season, we had them talking about feature films that they shoot as superheroes, and that's been mentioned in season 2 as well. Now we get to see them shoot a bit of a feature length, and I believe it's called Girls Get It Done. So you can understand where they're going for. There's some relationships that have been revealed, and so now they're touching on what they can do with that. The 7 are having a bit of a restructure, and so they're using the film to show that. And it's very interesting to see the dynamics and the relationships that are tested in between cutting the scenes of the filming that you get. Starlight having conversations, and we obviously know there's a bit of contention there already. Starlight is trying to hide, her character is still trying to hide right in front of everybody, even though she feels like she's going to get caught out all the time, because she feels like she's a wolf in sheep clothing, even though she's in the dragon's den, and she's trying to be a hero even though she knows what's going on behind the scenes. And so we have that, and so that brings a nice bit of tension for this episode, because you're always wondering what's going to happen with her. The Deep is now massively into his cult, the Church of the Collective, and seeing him, it feels like he's drunk the Kool-Aid now. So where before he was skeptical, and there are these guys that were trying to help him, now he's fully immersed into this. But there seems to be a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel for him, because the whole thing about why he was doing this was to get back into the Seven, and so now we see a pathway which he might be able to do that. Kimiko goes apeshit in this episode, and I've been waiting to see Kimiko get back into action. She's reeling from her brother, obviously what's happened with her brother, and it's so gory. I'm normally okay with gore, but what they show and how they show it and how they do it, how she does it, man alive, it got me, like, I was like feeling a little bit queasy. But at the same time, we also have this really emotional moment near enough that scene, which was such a juxtaposition. I felt like it really worked. I was really impressed with the kind of the juxtaposition of editing and telling the story, and that's where I feel like this whole story really works, especially with the interactions between seeing Noir and Butcher and Huey, seeing how those characters developed. I really like the way Huey has developed in this season, especially this episode. You see him kind of take on that leadership role, trying to bring Butcher up, even though he has no powers. He's just Huey. He's this likable characters that been thrust in this place that where most people wouldn't survive, and here we have him trying to interact with supers that are evil, with Butcher that seemingly can just smack him left, right and center. He has no martial arts expertise or gun training, and yet he's still trying to do what's right. And that's what's so likable about his character. He is the Jiminy Cricket to Butcher, to the team. They need him to kind of keep them on the straight and narrow, and that's what I've always liked about his character, and I feel like that comes to a bit more shine in this episode. The best thing about this episode by far is that this episode is finding the footing of this season, because of the way it's edited. It harkens back to what's happened in season 1, but this episode really kind of gives you the idea that 6, 7 and 8 are going to be about the final bit of the arc. Hopefully we're going to get more of Noir. Hopefully we're going to see the arc go where we want it to without doing spoilers. The embargo for this season has been really interesting, because we've had reviewers get the whole seasons, but each individual episode comes with specific things that we're not allowed to say. And so if I'm ever skipping over stuff, or you want me to go deeper into it, and you're like, oh, why can't you just talk about that? There's certain things that I'm not allowed to say, and that would give you spoilers as well, because I don't want it to spoil it for you. I just want to kind of give you an idea, get you excited for this episode particularly, because it feels like it's a stepping platform. They've now shown us where all their puzzle pieces are, and I really feel like it's going to come together in episode 6, 7 and 8. I haven't seen them yet, unlike some other reviewers. I do get screeners for these episodes individual, and as I get them individually, I will keep releasing reviews for them without breaking the embargo, without talking about those spoilers. I'm hoping that I'll be able to do a spoiler review later on. But yeah, I have to say that this episode I think might be my favorite, even though there's been better action sequences, just for like spectacular character moments, certain characters that meet up that I wasn't expecting, certain characters do things that I wasn't expecting. There are some bizarre, like, whoa moment, I can't believe that just happened on screen, and then there was some really great emotional punches that I wasn't expecting. And I think this was the one that was like brought me back to, oh yeah, it's the team, it's the guys, this is what I like about this program. It's a pity it's taken this long for this show to get there, but yeah, I'm hoping that you will, if you've not been a fan of the series or how Amazon have released the series. I mean, we could talk about that a little bit, about how Amazon have released the first 3 episodes. Fans have been very vocal about the fact that Amazon have done this. Even though The Boys have been picked up for season 3, I'm guessing if this is the format they want to go for, then fans are not going to be happy about this format. I personally would have really liked to have this whole season in a chunk. I feel like it's a bingeable series that needs to almost be binge watched, because they're individual chapters that are broken up. It's like one story broken up that you need to watch. And yet other shows that are individual, that have individual stories in their episodes, that makes sense to almost do week by week. But this seems like you need the whole lot. So I think it's because they want the retention, people to be talking about the show for longer. But if they're talking about it in a negative way, that's not really helping. So chat to me in the comments below what you thought about this. Do be positive, please, because this is my job. This is what I do for a living. I get this and writing other articles and novels, but I do get why people are upset. I don't understand the hate or the belief that I don't get screeners. That's just bizarre. It's a natural thing. People have screeners all over the place these days. Amazon, I have a good partnership with Amazon because I do a lot of content for them along with Netflix and other people. So, you know, yeah, I'm happy to chat positively, but if you are negative, if you are swearing at me, if you are, you know, sharing death threats at me, or saying that I'm this, that, and the other, that's ugly, I'm just going to delete you and block you, and you just won't have any interaction with the Review Tuesday, which is a shame, because we have a lot of fun here. We get, you know, early screeners, and we try and make it really entertaining. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Do chat to me in the comments below, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.